Hello. So I'm here on Amy's channel. She asked me to do a little video before I go out of town for a few weeks on business. So this is something new for me to do a little talk myself. It's the 4th of July, so I have my 4th of July shirt on. I don't know. I got a lot of things I could talk about. I mean, made a little list. I could talk about the Miscavige extortion racket, that whole topic and area. I could get into criminal cover-ups. I mean, I got 2 pages of it, all printed, typed out, of like all kinds of stuff. I mean, from armed robberies by Sea Org members, break-ins of non-Scientology homes, uh, accidental killing of people and then covering it up. I mean, I can get into all kinds of stuff. Oh, so I mean, a lot of this stuff I either knew about because of my position in the church, treasury, using money to cover up certain things. In one case, I was sent on a mission to actually find out who was doing some of these crimes, and I got to the bottom of it, caught the person, got a confession from them. I mean, I got all kinds of information, so it's going to be a long year for you also. Let's see what else I can cover. I can cover Scientology as the poster child of cheating, defrauding, and swindling. I mean, I figured that'd have to be like a 25-part series. I got so much information to go on with that stuff. So, I mean, maybe someday we'll get into how the church uh, helped destroy Lisa Marie Presley and her family. I mean, my brother was security for her and her family for like 7 years. I wouldn't feel proper to get into that with the information I have by myself. But if Danny Keogh, he knows me well, if he wants to come out and expose what Scientology did, I'd set him up for that. I think it would be very important for the public to know what Scientology did in terms of that whole family. It's not good. All right, so let's see. Where do I want to start? I guess I can give a little bit more information about the Lisa McPherson death in 1995. I mean, it's been covered extensively. It's been covered by the St. Pete Times, the Tampa Bay Times. It's been covered by other people in different write-ups. You can search for it on the computer. It was a woman who was a Scientology public. She came to flag in Clearwater and to get some services. There are certain things about that haven't been talked about, which I'll bring up. The data that is known is she had a nervous breakdown, and she wound up in a hospital there in Clearwater. And Scientology went in and took her out of there, and they put her into one of the cabanas at the back of the Fort Harrison, where she was stayed for 17 days before she died. All that information is covered, but what might not be known is that David Miscavige was actually case supervising her ordering. And I got that from Tom DeVock, who was in charge of the COCMO at the time. He was standing there when David was doing the CSing, also from Debbie Cook, who was the captain of the FSO, Flag Service Org, also from Don Jason, he was the chief officer. They were standing there when he called for her folders. He was doing looking in on her ordering session, and he started CSing her case. And they were like, "What is this guy even a trained CS? Where could he have gotten trained? I mean, of course he didn't get trained, but he's Mr. Know-It-All. He thinks he knows everything. He's Mr. Squirrel, which in Scientology means somebody who just does things that are off policy." And so he was case supervising her, and even had her attest to clear. He goes, "Oh, I know what's wrong with this case. She needs to attest to the state of clear, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, that was all before she had the nervous breakdown. Then she's pulled out of the hospital and put into the cabana. There's no way you don't bring a person with a psychotic break onto the base of the Flag Service Organization. I mean, there's only one person in Scientology that could order and allow that to happen, and that's David Miscavige, because he can break all the rules and nobody can contest it. You got to realize that at the time I was the Treasury Secretary of the Flag Service Organization, and we're not set up to handle people who have psychotic breaks. It's like that's not where you have people posted. And I remember all the divisional heads, we got called up to the conference room, And we all sat down. You can tell stuff is really serious. And she says, "You guys are all going to cooperate. I got something to tell you guys." And you can tell, you're not going to not cooperate. And she said, "Each of you, depending on the size of your division, are going to give up some of your staff to work full time on watching a woman who has had a psychotic break." And for me, Treasury, my division, my size, I only had to give up one person. Well, who are the people going to give up to go watch this woman? I mean, your life depends on your statistics. So you're going to try to give up somebody who won't affect the statistic of your division. I gave up a girl who barely spoke English. She was a young girl from Mexico, and she was doing filing and stuff, so we can cover the filing. So yeah, here's this girl. She's going to work full time to help watch this. And the other division heads did the same thing. They took the people that they could give up easily without disrupting anything in the area. So these are the people that were put on watching Lisa McPherson as she slowly died in her cabana room. At the time, I had $50 million set aside in the FSO, the Flag Service Org, for emergencies. Out of the weekly allocation each week, money would be pulled aside per policy and put aside for like an emergency. That $50 million was all used to fight this Lisa McPherson trial case of the church being accused of wrongful death of this woman. But that wasn't all of it. I mean, we were giving up so much of the money that came in each week that some weeks we didn't even get money back for a financial plan. Like we had zero given back to us from, like we made 1.7 million or 2 million or whatever. That all went to international management. They used a big chunk of that for this trial. And we went almost a year without getting any pay in the Flag Service Organization because so much money was being pulled to fight that legal trial and get, do all the different things they do, get lawyers and get people that'll say medical witnesses and this and that. There was 1 week, though, that we were told that we were going to be given money by the International Finance Office to pay the crew. We had to pay the crew that week. Why did we have to pay the crew that week? Because it was Miscavige's birthday. And on Miscavige's birthday and on Christmas, all the staff, what do you got, about 4,000 SEERG members, everybody has to give their $25 to Miscavige's birthday or Christmas present. Now, if you're talking 4,000 people times $25, you're talking $100,000. You do that for Christmas and his birthday, that's $200,000. But it doesn't stop there. You got the people that are in the SEERG that have a lot of money, like some of them are even millionaires. They get pulled aside, they get pulled into an office, and they get pressured to give money for Miscavige's birthday or Christmas present. And it's not optional. It's not optional to give up your $25. The crew list is used to check you off as your money is taken. There's a person sitting there as pay is given out, and you pull out the money out of your little envelope because people all get paid in cash because a lot of these people don't have bank accounts. That's not something that's normal for a SEERG member. So they get paid in cash. They pull the cash out. They give it over. They get the name checked off. Should they try to not show up for their pay or try some other tricky thing not to pay the money to Miscavige, they will be hunted down. They will be found and gotten to cough up the dough. I mean, it's a racket. So you're talking what? Maybe $250,000 a year goes to this guy for this little extortion racket of making all the staff kick their money back over to him. And International Finance Office is making sure we're getting paid those weeks so that there is enough money to pay Miscavige. I mean, that's a nice little hustle you got there. Let's see, what else should you know? Oh, we had a situation where Tom Cruise's family was getting over $100,000 of free ordering at the Fort Harrison Hotel. And I'm the Treasury Secretary. That ain't okay. It's exactly off policy to give anybody free ordering. I mean, you can award somebody some free training, but you can't give free ordering. And so what the heck is this with, Tom Cruise, his family can't afford to pay for ordering like a normal person? Of course they can. So why is Miscavige ordering these people to get free service? It didn't make sense. I reported it to RTC, and of course I got in trouble for reporting it because I'm obviously, counterintention to David Miscavige and his bullcrap. But I found out later they had a little thing going on. Tom Cruise was given some of the highest quality audiovisual equipment over to Miscavige as little gifts. So one's giving gifts one way and one's giving gifts the other way. And meanwhile, the staff are walking around with, not enough money to buy cigarettes and coffee. It's like, give me a friggin' break. So that's a little extra data there. Also, just as a point on the Lisa McPherson, after she died, a millionaire named Bob Minton, he started to try to expose Scientology abuses and stuff like that regarding Lisa McPherson and all that. And he started a little trust fund and rented some offices in Clearwater and was doing demonstrations with some other ex-Scientologists and stuff. And he was investigated by the private investigators of the church, and they found out that he had some shady background in some of his finances, and he could possibly go to prison for these things. So they blackmailed his butt. They made him pay all the different legal fees and things like that of the church. And I heard at the meeting when they had this blackmail information, Miscavige said, and make him pay me $1 million personally. Now, I don't know that that was done, but I do know when Miscavige says, make something happen, people jump through the little buttholes and make it happen. So you can be pretty assured that he got $1 million straight up from Bob Minton as part of that whole blackmail scheme. Let's see, what else? Do you know why the superpower building finally broke ground at that when it did? I mean, after years of it just kind of sitting there and not actually breaking ground and collecting more donations for it and this and that, it was ordered that the groundbreaking for the superpower building happened because the PR of Scientology in Clearwater was so bad at that time during the Lisa McPherson debacle that the idea was, let the public all know that we're going to be, building this huge building, and the different businesses, we'll contact them all and tell the window guys, you're going to be able to put in, a bid for the windows, and the roof guys, you'll be able to put in a bid, and the paint guys, and all the different things that go with it, the restaurants. Just contact all these people, put stuff in the newspapers, really drum it up that, there's a lot of money to be made from the Scientologists. So to keep the general public from wanting to attack Scientology, and also to promise all kinds of jobs would be created in downtown Clearwater, yak. That was actually a playbook that Hubbard had in Hemet, California. We went into that base, which has been covered many times. We went into there not letting people know that we were Scientology. And of course, when you start off with a lie like that, it's going to sooner or later blow up. And when it did blow up, and the people in Hemet were all upset about the fact that Scientology had bought this beautiful golf course and their local restaurant and hangout and all that kind of stuff, they were upset. And what Hubbard said was, pretend like, set up this thing where it makes it look like we're going to be building a whole bunch of public housing on one end of the property. And this is going to bring in all kinds of business, for the merchants that will sell all the building materials and all that. It's going to make jobs. They hired an outside company to make up a big poster showing the beautiful pictures of what this place was going to look like. They had models made. I mean, they went full out to con the people of Hemet in the California and Riverside and that whole area that we were going to be doing this whole big thing of building housing there, which was all a lie. It never was intended to be done. It never got done, but it did help settle down the PR of the local area because they thought they were going to get jobs and money from Scientology. Well, that same playbook was used in Clearwater when it was when these people were told that the superpower building was breaking ground. It was going to bring jobs and money to them. You think that Scientology needed that building? That building is huge. I mean, it's huge. And the delivery that happened after that isn't any more than it was before that. Like they were doing $1.5 million in the late 80s, 1980s, of value of delivery of services. And in 2005, they were doing the same, or less. So that building was not needed for delivery. Plus, they had already put in a whole another building of delivery over at the Sandcastle. All these things got added and never actually increased the value of delivery that the organization was able to deliver, which is incredible. It was just wasted. So that's a little bit more background information on that. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to cover just right now? Oh, there's so much I can go into. And maybe I'll do a separate video on criminal cover-ups. Oh, that would be nasty. All right, so that's all for right now. I'll be talking to you more. Bye-bye.